B-Bad and Brandon.
Do you remember when we had to show you how to plug your phone into your car so you could play it through your
since
car?
That's happened, I'm actually starting to listen to the podcast.
Correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to listen to it through his car, so we had to teach him.
Every time I'd go to, this is too much. I'd throw the mobile over the
It's
back.
all right. I had to show Paul Pegler how to use his phone just to find us on like Apple, Spotify.
I had to do that for him too.
I know, it's not
wow.
easy. It's not easy. But once you hook in, it's good.
But we have
good.
like, this is...
We're on every platform.
Yeah.
what you did there.
Oh!
Now, we actually this is our last podcast for the year.
Uh-huh.
Now, we invited you because you're two very special guests.
Our favourite guest.
Our favourites. Obviously, Pete being the most capped. And then Luke
You
being
think
the
they're
most
also-
railed on every podcast.
You can think whatever you like, Peter.
Yeah.
It's true. You're
Yep.
our
No,
triad
that's
leader.
Yep.
And
You've been on the most podcasts out of all of them, Pete.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Obviously, with your incredible knowledge around business for the COVID panels and your own.
David, yep.
And the fear we have because of who you really are.
Yeah, we know who you really are.
Yep.
We know you've got
That was a
connections.
past life. Now I just...
You've got them kitted anyway.
Yeah,
right?
Now we
But that
just
shirt's really throwing us off.
Well, it's Christmas party. Haven't I got to sort of
Did
get
you
a bit...
iron that?
No. I had to take the tags off, I think.
Looks nice anyway, mate.
No,
Brand new out of the
I think,
packet.
Yeah, I think they're off. Yeah,
That's amazing.
No, it's
For anyone
good.
who's not watching us on the YouTube right now,
Look at
please look at it. It's just for the shirt.
It's glorious. Are you a Hawaiian shirt guy, Luke?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Do you remember the
do it?
shirt he wore to dinner up at Redcliffe that night?
I do.
And then Epic dinner last year?
That was
He
nice.
looks good in a Hawaiian shirt. Pete,
Like the colour on you.
I really wish you told us. We would have made you. We should have all got Hawaiian shirts.
It should have been. It's
Shoulda,
Christmas.
coulda, woulda.
Christmas party.
Yep, 100%.
Next time.
Yeah, I got a Christmas outfit, yeah. I could have brought that.
You have a Christmas outfit?
Yeah, of course. You don't have one?
No.
Bro.
Does it have a red hat and a white beard? And
No, that's the other one.
It's red. It's red?
No, that's the other one.
Oh, the other
Yeah, you
one.
get
He's
it.
winking very profusely here.
He's talking about the one with the G-string.
Yeah, baby.
We actually got Brock one of those, so
I'll send you photos.
yeah, please.
Yeah, no.
For the fans only.
Fans only.
Now that everyone knows who you are,
Yep.
but there has been
We're talking to Luke, Pete. Sorry, mate.
Well, we do know who Luke is.
the people would like to offer Luke a chance at redemption at the 21 words. Obviously, yours has been the most
Talked about.
talked about. Most talked about through the podcast history.
He got 3 attempts, didn't he, last time?
Yeah, I think it was 3 goes.
Was
It's
it?
like- yeah.
Yeah, from memory, it was 3 goes.
Because he said, no, I'm not sure. Does that count? And that's 12 words just before
Yeah,
you...
but I mean,
You remember more than I do.
I've listened to most of the podcasts on this show, and comparatively, I actually didn't do that bad,
Yeah,
to be honest.
actually,
you know.
that's true.
So, but it doesn't matter. You can poke shit at me all you like.
That's
It
right.
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
it's
At the end of the day, none of us total 1,000.
Can we do it together?
What?
There's 1,000 total.
You might just scrape it in.
Just get it in.
Yeah, no, we total over 1,200.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
but
Yeah,
you've got to
between
get a
the three
raw
of us,
total.
I
though.
reckon
Have you
we
got a
could
raw
get-
total, or are
I
all
do,
yours equipped?
650.
Wow.
650.
We got you, Luke. Fuck you. You ain't that. Nah.
You can do my raw total and my push-pull total I did the next day. That might get me over the line.
I think Luke's subtotal beats our totals.
Yeah, true.
His
eh?
warm-up beats.
Possibly.
410 plus 250,
What's that?
Yeah.
660.
Yeah, that beats mine.
It's close. Yeah.
Beats my best total. Fuck yes, it does. Hey, I done
I
700
got
training,
a
right?
few kilos on you both, though, right? Like, I mean, you know.
Not for next year. Big man's coming up to the supers with you.
We're full of jokes today, aren't we? No
Heard it
offense,
first.
bro.
I have a bit more of a plan to get to 140. Like, I think... Sorry, that was just too great. Your reaction to that was brilliant. I want to go, like, I'll get to a steady 110 first. Then the next goal should be 120. I think that's a bit smarter.
Yeah, just one step at a time.
Yeah, Johnny
or
wants
even
me there
like
now.
115. Like, you know, try to get there.
Yeah, whereas Johnny wants me
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I do want you now.
There?
This
Or over there?
Wow.
this podcast is on fire today.
Everywhere.
Oh, so
It's spiraling down. You better bring us back out, bro.
we'd have, this is the plan. to have no plan.
The no plan.
The no plan works for us.
Yeah.
But we wanted to get you two back on, and as you're the most seasoned, Pete in age and
figure
Luke
we
in
get some more
experience.
stories out of Pete.
I would love this.
Pete's done some competing this year.
And
then,
the people want an update on Luke and what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Pete.
And Pete slipped into our DMs and asked Luke a bunch of questions. I don't know if you realise you could have actually asked Luke when you sat next to him as well.
But I wasn't sure whether I get a talking part like that.
It's their job, Pete. I'm with you, mate. It's their job.
No, I think sometimes they need help with the questions, you know? Like, this podcast only works if the questions work, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
good questions.
We're full
Yeah.
of knowledge, we're full of experience, but
Pete,
it doesn't
Luke
come...
is.
The fishing just doesn't work, you know, so...
doesn't come
So
without the right question.
I've given them a couple of...
Wow, they're all from you, Pete.
Exactly.
I was waiting for you to ask you a question.
My question of him.
No, you to ask yourself one.
Yeah. Well, I put one in there which I left open for both of us.
Which
Fair
was
enough.
that?
You know, how much does courage and character?
So you asked yourself a
apply-
question.
No, yeah, to apply to the sport of paddle. Oh, look, it can be a general question, really.
Actually,
I
you
mean,
know
what?
That was a really good.
Like, there's a lot of sports that require certain things, you know. But I'm just wondering what you think of. He's got to answer those. 20
Okay, so
questions.
Luke,
But-
I'll ask you the question from Pete, and then
Yeah.
I'll ask
Pete basketball.
the question
and
from
then,
Pete.
and then maybe you should contribute to that.
Okay, this is Pete. This is a good plan that you've just come up with.
So we must have jumped forward at least 20, 30 minutes into the podcast.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think that's getting us to the end very quickly.
Yeah.
Pete's like,
This'll
I
be
want
the-
to get the fuck
This
out
will be
of
the
here.
shortest
So the beers
podcast.
are in my fridge for after this.
It was the shortest podcast we've done.
Okay, now real quick question before we get that. How keen are you, Pete, for this Christmas party after this podcast?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Do you think you have a shot at the trophy?
No.
We have a coveted award.
If it's volume, I'll probably win on volume,
Volume
but I
of
think
food.
on quality, it may
Damn.
not make it.
Well, we
yeah.
got
You got the
Oh, there's actually
FB
other
Christmas
questions.
party
no,
after
the
this,
little Saturday crew.
okay.
They got a little Christmas party, and it was probably a selfish decision to create this competition because I feel like I will be the true winner out of this, and it is the best meal award.
Best meal award.
So everyone is bringing a plate of food to my place, and we will vote anonymously, and you'll win the coveted first annual
what'd you
Team
make?
Bad
didn't
meal
make
best
anything.
meal award.
I'm
And there's a
getting it on the
trophy.
way over.
and
You got a clear
What do you want?
advantage of having home turf.
It's a Subway
I
party.
do,
Oh.
but I mean, I feel like I can't win, so that's fine. But what I've been doing all week is
Back it
playing
up.
them off against each other. So
Gift
like, I've
wrap.
been going to Sil. You know, Dita's doing a 24-hour brisket. She's out buying spice and she's doing all kinds of shit. So now Sil thinks he needs to come here.
You
Then
played
I'll
it
go
well.
back to Dita and be like, have you seen what Sil's doing with his ribs?
I bet you someone just brings a plate of sandwiches.
Yeah, it's Pete.
Let it out.
I don't think they realise
Hey,
they
we
will
got-
probably win. Johnny loves a
Fucking
sandwich.
cheese boards. We got more food than food. It's going to be glorious.
We'll take
And I
more
got a
home.
cake.
We'll take more home
Cake.
than we bring, I think.
You got your cake and you'll eat it too, right?
Fuck yeah, well.
All right, real quick question because there was other questions as well. Luke, you asked yourself, why is that head so big?
I did.
Now, could you
It's
please?
because you're always asking it and you're never getting a straight answer out of anybody.
No. So why is that head so big?
Well, it's because of my genetics, bro.
Oh, there you
Really
go.
quite as simple as that.
Do you come from a big-headed family? A long line
I
of
do.
big heads?
There's a bit of German
Yep.
in there, which, you know,
Oh,
traditionally...
so we've got
the
full
bigger
genetic
heads.
code history here.
Yep, mate. It's just pure genetics.
Well, there you go.
That's it, full stop.
Now, I'll add on to this. Can you please confirm that G has the bigger head?
Well, we did a measurement exercise a while ago. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And he never confirmed or denied. He wasn't
you go.
game to measure his own head.
There you go.
I measured mine and I gave you the measurements. I do strictly recall that.
I remember that
Do you
as
think
well.
he was running scared?
Well, I don't know.
He
You're
saw the number and
going
didn't
to
want
have
to
to
be in it.
ask him.
He saw the number.
We will,
I
we will
mean,
get
I
him.
could care less whether or not his head's bigger than mine or not, but he wasn't game measure.
So
So,
he's got the bigger head.
Now,
G, if you're watching, mate, how big is your head in centimetres?
Please.
I'm
But
awesome.
isn't it important what's in the head? Isn't that the sort
Well,
of
we're not
the
we're
key
not
thing?
talking about that.
Oh, okay.
Hey, yeah, we're actually talking about the size of the head.
It's not about how you use it, Pete. It's about the size.
Okay.
Now, Kane Shepherd has also asked Luke,
All right.
who gives better handouts on the bench, Kane or Brandon?
Ooh.
So this is a politically motivated question here.
Politically.
That I'm refusing to answer on the grounds that I may A, incriminate myself, and B, disable myself in future training sessions.
I'll always be there to
one
hand you
way
out.
or the other.
No, I'll always hand you out. Yeah, whatever the answer is. I mean, I know the answer.
I do detect some significant influence in both your lift outs by myself, given that I've impressed upon both of you the correct technique for lift out.
This is very, very politically correct.
So there are a lot of similarities in the method
But
used
who's the
for
better
lift out. Well, I'm not going to confirm or deny either way.
Are you okay? So it's a G. It's a
Put it
G
this way.
scenario with the big head.
When Kane's there and you're not,
It's Kane.
he's number one.
But when I'm there,
When you're there and he's not, then you're number one.
but what if we're both there?
Well, it's whoever's around at the time.
But if say,
But if you're lifting me out, you're it, mate. You're number one.
but if Kane's also there, and he's like, I
Yeah,
could
but
lift
if he's
you out.
not lifting me out, then he's useless to me at that particular time.
Yeah, 100%. Now you're getting very detailed here.
See, that head
That-
is filled with stuff, isn't it? You can tell. It's got wires connected.
Maybe I've got a future career in politics.
Yeah, I think
Perhaps.
so.
I'd vote you.
Okay, now next
I
question.
didn't
is-
actually answer that question.
No, you didn't.
Well done.
Oh, mate, just be honest. Just say I'm the better one.
Yeah, you should have just gone full left field.
Well, actually, if we're throwing a third wheel into the mix,
Johnny is the other contender.
he's been influenced by me as well in his lift out, so he's not.
And
too
that
bad
day, I
either.
was the only one available here. I did
And
well
that
too.
day when you lifted me out on the 242 here, that was a pretty damn good lift out as well.
There you go.
There you go.
It's whoever's there at the time. Now, Kane's also asked you, Luke, how does Luke feel about Kane out squatting him and then out totaling him in the next 12 months? Fucking hell, Kane.
Oh,
I didn't read the
and
second part of
going
the
back to the first question, Brandon is the best.
I would say to Kane, bring it on.
question.
If he can put in the work and get there, then he deserves it.
100%.
What's your best squat?
and that is
410.
that is just how it is.
410 kilos. Is his
With
best
1,000
squat.
total.
But,
If he
but
puts in
hasn't
the
done
work,
that.
you
No,
know,
but like that's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I love it.
I mean, that's a no contest, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, so the question's like,
Oh, he reckons he's going to do it in the next
he's going to
12 months.
outdo it.
Oh, no.
What's
You
that
missed that.
best at the moment?
No.
375.
No,
Yeah.
best total.
No, he did a 3.8.
870.
870. What are your thoughts, Pete, on that?
1,000, 870?
Yeah. What do you think?
But
No, not good.
but now, okay, so from Luke, you're saying bring it on.
well, mate, if he can apply enough discipline over the next 12 months to do what he needs to do, which is probably a significant task, all right, let's be honest, to put on 130 kilos in 12 months
Yeah, he's really.
is probably one or two orders of magnitude above what he's currently doing in terms of discipline, rate of effort, etc., all of the spectrum of the things you have to do. But if he's prepared to do all of that and put the hard yards in, then, mate, he deserves these results.
And that's
I'd
assuming
be
you
more
don't-
inclined to say give him 5 or 6 years, because that's pretty much how long it took me to go from like an 890 total to a 1,000 kilo total. Took me 5 years, because I hit 890 in like late 2013 or something like that, and then it wasn't until like 2018 until I hit the 1,000.
Do you think, knowing what you know now, you could have done it quicker?
Oh, look, I could have probably taken a little bit less time, and I had opportunities at other competitions where if execution had gone
A bit smoother.
a bit smoother and my way a little bit better, if I had, and it all comes down to what you do in your prep
Yeah.
to prepare for a competition, right?
Yep.
If you don't hit the numbers on the day to get the total, then you haven't done enough in your prep. Right? If you turn up, because what you turn up with on the day reflects what you put on the total across the lifts, right?
100%.
And to hit 1,000, you got to dot a lot of I's and cross a lot of T's over a long period of time. It's not every day that someone can just come out and within a year or two hit 1,000. There are guys that have done it, you know. Young Dylan from WA is one of them.
Freak.
There's other guys in overseas that have done it as well. But we're talking about a very small minority of people that can get to that level in such a short period of time. Most everybody else takes years.
We've had a few guests
Years
on
and
here
years,
have totaled 1,000 now, so
But let's not take anything away from Kane. If he puts in the hard yards,
I have no doubt he will do it.
some of his lifts will go up, like his squat in particular. He'll probably easily squat 400 in the next 12 months. I don't have any doubts in my mind that he'll do that. Maybe he'll squat a bit more.
Yeah.
But he will struggle to bench. He already struggles a bit with bench, right? So he'll struggle to get his bench up if he's focusing more on squatting. Yeah. And to be able to get your deadlift up as well, he's got a few things that he's got to change.
Maybe he was asking just tongue in cheek.
Oh, he was. But
Yeah.
I love that.
So-
I love that Poli's come out the other side and
He's
gone,
got-
fuck you.
You
got
can
the
ask me
engineering
tongue in
approach.
cheek, but then don't be surprised
Be ready
if
for the real answer.
I'll give you a fair income
Yeah.
response. Yeah, like
Now, Pete, your take on that.
My take on,
Will Kane, in the next 12 months, out squat Luke?
I didn't even put him in the same class. I'm sorry. I didn't even know. It was a bit like comparing me to. But I must have missed a few.
I love you, Pete.
I must have missed a few.
Complete honesty.
I must have missed a few of his lifts or something.
Complete honesty. Sometimes he'll build you up with a compliment before you get that honesty, but today we didn't get one of those. We just got the honesty.
Pete just got...
You got to put people in their place. You just can't allow people to usurp. I mean, this guy's the king. I must say, this is. I was in powerlifting.
I'm sorry, Kane. I didn't think it was going to go this way.
I was in powerlifting for a while, and you'd go around and you'd know all the big players, and Luke was obviously, in my mind, way up there. And I remember going to a comp at GPC, and I've got my gear, and I'm walking along, and Luke goes, "Hey, g'day, Pete. How you going?" And I go, "Whoa!" I thought I'd just made it to some club. It wasn't the status club, but I'd been accepted in some fraternity.
Big dog knows you.
Yeah, that big dog that I watch on
I say g'day to just about anybody.
Well, that might be, but for this old lifter, it was a wonderful feeling. Yeah, no, I was really thrilled.
This fucking triad leader.
Yeah, I mean, I could have had him done, but
You would have had to pay through the nose for that one.
it costs a fortune, and it's the paperwork you got to fill out. Those days
Probably
are
my
done.
favourite podcast of the year.
No, that was.
This is amazing.
Anyway, it's really, you just don't realise how much your presence and your,
Influence.
stuff like that actually does influence people. You think it's just being friendly, but I think it,
Yeah,
for
you're right,
other powerlifters, they go, wow, I've got some sort of acceptance or recognition, and I didn't lift any, but
I've had
I still
that
dropped
with
it. But
when I was up and coming as well, like my first nationals, and this was way back in 2007, when I was competing in powerlifting Australia, and Odell Manuel was competing at nationals, and I'd known his name from rugby league a bit, and then he's competing at nationals, just obliterating everybody across all the lifts, and he was just his normal friendly Odell, and then I met him again in 2013 at nationals, and he remembered me just like that from that other nationals,
yeah, it's
and
lovely.
it's just like we're brothers, competing in powerlifting. It's like everybody that I've ever met, like the guys that have come up from overseas to the big dogs that we've gone to, there might be one or two of them that are a bit reserved, but everybody's friendly, open, says g'day, all that sort of stuff.
Especially in a group like that, though. Like, you think coming out from big dogs, it's a bit more, because they're all there as the big dogs, you think it'd be a bit more elitist type mentality, but it was actually, I think, big dogs too, with Dan Bell out there. Like, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, Big Dogs 3 in particular for me, that was my last Big Dogs that I've competed at so far. And the guys like
Hint, he said so far.
Brandon Allen, even
he's a legend.
Even Peter Petrus, right? He's the guy who won.
Yeah.
He's still liking my posts
That's amazing.
Like if I make a post, he's just taken the all-time world record, right?
1160.
Yeah, and he likes my posts. So same sort of thing, right? Where you got these elite guys from overseas, and you hook up with them on social media, and you watch their stuff and like their stuff and comment on it, and then Brandon Allen, Peter Petrus, those guys are liking my stuff as well, right? So it's like it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, it's
I remember, I think it was after Pro
means
Raw
something.
9, Brandon Lilly gave you a big shout out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you did go 970. That comp was pretty fucking sick.
yeah, that's right. He shared my squat. He
Yeah.
made a comment on it. Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, Peter Petrus. Fuck did that come from? Oh, did you see that 290 bench?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but he's been cruising for a big one for a while now. That guy.
He fucking because he didn't do big dogs last year, did he?
No.
No, he squatted 470, bench
Deep as
290,
fuck.
and then pulled 400.
Takes a bit out of you, I think, if you're totaling over 1,100.
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Take a year or two to
You
recover
might need
from
a
that.
break after that, maybe.
Oh yeah, I mean even 1,000, it takes its toll.
Yeah.
So
Which is probably a good segue, and we'll get off the questions for a little bit. Come back. How's your body feeling now?
my body
Yeah.
is not going too bad. Yeah.
'Cause you had a bit of an injury.
You had speed lumps?
Yeah. So this year, a couple of old injuries have reared their head big time.
Yeah, after
Like-
the big quad tear in 2019.
Yeah, well that was it. So the big quad tear, prepping for Russia, that took me out of that. A couple of months after that, I was fine. But then, see, back in 2011, I did a similar thing to what Pagan did just recently.
Shout out Chase Pagan. Thoughts and with you.
Popped the disc, right?
Yeah.
And then over the last 3 or 4 years in particular, there's been a degeneration in my L4 and the disc in between the L4 and the one above it, to the point where this year both of the stabilizers or whatever you call them on either side have cracked off, stress fractured off,
Yeah, wow.
and the disc had actually slid back about, so it was this far,
Slid back.
whatever that is,
Slid back
10 mil or something, slid backwards
So into where
and,
it was.
and physically completely compressed the disc above it
Yeah, wow.
to the point where now I'm like vertebrae on vertebrae.
Fuck.
And so that's what I've been rehabbing,
I'm
right?
taking up bowls.
And so on top of that, the left shoulder, which
Was being a dick.
I screwed back in 2015, had surgery to reattach the main tendon through here.
And then bench 180 at States.
Yeah, and then this year, it's probably 5 or 6 months ago, I had it MRI'd again, and it was just all the cartilage completely worn away in the shoulder. So I had a little procedure on that as well to get some lubrication back in the joint and a bit of cortisone to
Ease the pain a little bit.
ease it off a bit. And that's the rehab for that has come along really good.
You're back
Shoulder-
benching.
Well, I'm hitting 200 for triples again comfortably, and the weight's feeling pretty light in the hands at the moment
Good.
for bench.
Especially when Brando lifts you out.
The shoulder is as good. The shoulder's feeling as good as it was prior to hitting the 250 back in 2018. So that's positive. The lower back is coming along. I'm doing every day. I'm doing a rehab protocols. Every morning I get up, I go for my walk. And when I get back from my walk with the dogs, I spend a half an hour doing lower back and shoulder.
Rehab.
Well, it's gone from being rehab now to being
Prehab. More preventative.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the shoulder's as good as it's going to get.
Right. Yeah.
The next step is a shoulder replacement. So
We don't want that.
that's what the surgeons have told me, right?
Yeah.
Because I've completely worn it out. That and the procedures that I had this year are the step between what they can do and shoulder replacement.
Yeah. Right.
So
By
I've probably got an opportunity for 1 or 2 more lots of injections if I need it for lubrication and whatever, before I have to get a complete replacement. So we'll put that off for
As
at
long
least
as we
another
can.
5 or 10 years, hopefully. And the lower back is coming along pretty good.
Good to see you back pulling some big numbers too, and
hitting
beltless.
hitting 290 and 280 for reps on deadlifts again. Gradually picking the squats back up again. Like this week, I hit 230 pause safety bar for a set of 5.
Yeah, right.
And I hit on the Duffalo bar. I did a couple of sets of 6 at 210, just with a belt.
Yeah, nice.
So squats are coming back up nicely. Not pushing those too hard at the moment. I know how to squat. They'll come back fairly
I don't
quickly.
think you do. You've only squatted 410.
But I'm mainly focusing on getting my shoulder right, because I still can't actually hold on to the bar
In a low bar position.
in a full closed grip position in the low bar position. Even in the high bar position on the Duffalo bar, I can't. And if I go wide like this, I get a stabbing pain through here. So
Yeah, right.
I'm managing some biomechanical restrictions within my shoulder. So every day I'm doing there's a couple of exercises that sort of manipulate the shoulder joint a little bit, just subtle manipulation of the shoulder joint to try to open it up.
Yep.
So all that sort of stuff. I'm throwing just about everything I can get at it
It's good.
at the
So when
moment.
are you going to retire?
Retire from powerlifting? Is that even a thing?
Well, I'm worried about my 66-year-old records. I'm just hoping that
It's
you're
a
out of the
selfish.
game.
I think-
Luke,
By the
Luke, it's a
time-
very
I
selfish
think I'll
question.
be in a different weight class though.
Yeah. You'll be lighter than me. at
None
that
of this
stage.
jumping on a bike, the week before a comp at 66 years of age and trying to cut 3 kilos.
That's correct, Pete.
What's with that, bro? Hey?
It was a kilo. That's all I had to do.
Let me just say that is
1 kilo.
unapproved by coach, and he came in hoping I would not be in the gym.
I thought he was in Melbourne, so I thought, well, I'll come into the gym. He won't know. I'll just whack it off and get
Whack
on the
it off.
scale. Just it'll drip off and on the scale, and I'm in the comp. I didn't know he was
Was
just
this before the
standing
deadlift
there.
comp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Fuck, you're the
record
best.
hunting. He's locked in on a
You're
bunch
the
of
best.
Ron Birch's old records, and he just wants to take them all off him.
Yeah,
Just
that's all I
steal
live for now. I just look, where's the record?
What
mate?
weight class are you competing in?
That was 100.
100.
I had to be under 100, and
Yeah.
I was 99.98
Look, the last time
or something.
the last time I weighed 100.8 kilos was back in
100.8, yeah.
2001 when I was trying to get into the Air Force.
Okay.
Wasn't doing any weight training, wasn't eating any food, and I was running 5 kilometres a day.
I would love to see you run.
And I never could get under 100 kilos. That was me, skin and bone.
On the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you went wrong, Luke. You didn't have an ergo.
And you got to have a thing over the top of you,
Yeah. But no, what am I, 1.5 feet, 2 feet taller than you? So
Yeah.
I'm never getting under 100
Well,
kilos ever again.
66, you got all that time between, a young 40 to a 66.
The only time I'll be under 100 kilos is
Yep.
after I'm dead
Yeah,
and I've been cremated.
yeah, you'll be.
Then my
definitely-
ashes will be under 100
yep.
kilos.
You know what? Your
Easy.
ashes probably won't.
Yeah, actually, they'll be.
There'll be a lot of muscles.
They'll have
And, yeah, by then it won't be my problem.
The big. They'll have a box this big,
Yeah.
fella. Yeah, everyone else just gets an ashes box this big, and look.
But you just worry about me, mate. I'm going to take all your fucking records.
That's why I got to
every
stay
one.
in the game. Well, did you see that 90-year-old guy? Did you
Yeah,
see
we just
that on
spoke about
Facebook?
Yeah.
9-year-old pulled 183.
What do you reckon? 90?
So back to your question
Yeah.
about retirement. You've answered it yourself, mate.
Never.
I don't think you could ever retire from this sport.
It's not a
Well, the
sport that
thing
you
is,
have
you
to
don't
retire
have to.
from.
You
No,
don't have
yeah.
to. You can maybe drop a lift. Maybe the people seem to drop the squat every now and again because of
Well,
that.
I'm
They
more
can't
thinking-
get back.
Well, that's your problem. You
Rather than dropping a lift, it's more you just drop down a level that you try to compete at.
So I guess
Is that your actual
here's a better question. When will
Like,
you retire from elite level lifting?
looking into your question,
Well, no, yeah. Well, competing. I mean, you won't retire from training.
I don't think you'll ever
Well-
stop competing.
And it's the same thing with competing, right? You've answered that question. Your question actually is, when will I think about retiring from the elite level of powerlifting?
Well, elite level, yeah. When will you go?
There you go, Pete.
I'm,
You don't ask the
worried about
questions.
are you going to go back to 1,000? Is that where you go?
Well, that's the
That's the
I'm trying to get myself back to a solid baseline that I feel that I can work from to then prep for a comp where I can look at going over 1,000. Yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment.
So you want to beat that 1,000 because you only just
Yeah.
got 1,000.
There's no point doing it
You
again.
didn't get 0.5 over.
No,
You
that's
just
what I
got
mean, right?
The zeros.
I got the 4-digit total,
4 digits.
Pete's
Yeah.
real savage today.
hit that milestone, and
now you want to beat it.
For the
Yeah.
Russia, we were on track for a pretty decent one.
Yeah, right. Until I popped the quad,
Yeah.
all the lifts were
We're on track.
better in the prep than they'd ever been.
Looking for a 1040 total.
But obviously there was stuff I was doing wrong. Otherwise I
Yeah.
wouldn't have got injured. So it's like everything, right? You live and you learn.
Move on.
And I know what I wasn't doing and what I was doing wrong during that prep that caused that injury.
now you're ticking all
It
the
was
boxes.
left shoulder related. Predominantly it was related to my left shoulder health.
Yeah.
It just screwed everything else up. And it's the left shoulder health is actually the reason why my lower back degenerated at a faster rate than it actually should have. Plus there was a whole bunch of stuff that I never was actually doing that as an elite lifter I should have. Basic stuff like focusing on core strength. So, and it's real basic stuff once you look at it, right?
You listening, Pete?
Simple things like
Take this in, champ.
front planks,
Have you done your
side
core?
planks,
I'll do it tomorrow.
You know, all that stuff that takes 20 or 30 minutes. You know, and if you're not to the point where you've completely fucked yourself over, like I had, you don't have to put as much effort in, right? So now, because of where I am and because of where I allowed my body to get to, I've had to put a lot more effort in, and I'll need to continue to put a lot more effort in to get myself back to where I want to be.
But anyone or any lifter who's serious about it should be applying that mentality now.
Yeah.
Don't wait for something to go wrong.
Don't wait for the injury.
Yeah, exactly. Don't wait for the injury. Get it. Yeah, Pete, we're all looking at you.
It's a lot easier to do some prehab
And
than
then
it
some
is to
fucking
be doing some rehab.
Yeah, it's easy to say it as well, but the trick is in being disciplined in your execution of doing all the things, right? Because when you add everything up during the day, if your lifestyle isn't in line with what you want to achieve, then it's not going to happen, right? That's the long and the short of it, right? You've got to mold your whole life. Like if you want to be an elite powerlifter, let's be real about it, right? If you want to be an elite powerlifter, you've got to mold your whole lifestyle.
100%.
Everything you do on a daily basis, particularly if you're still working full time, which I am. You know, I'm an engineer and I do, 40, 45, sometimes 50 hours a week. So your whole lifestyle has got to be focused on, you've got to get up in the morning to do your walk. You've got to do your bloody rehab stuff. You've got to eat your food, make sure all your food's prepped for the day. If you're going to eat 5.5, 6,000 calories or whatever it is because you're trying to be a super heavyweight powerlifter. It's lucky I don't have a physical job, because if I had a physical job, I'd probably need to eat 7 or 8,000.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's why Hef's having such a hard time putting weight on, right?
100%. He's always had it because he's so physical in his
Because
job.
he'll spend 3,000 or 4,000 calories a day just working, whereas I don't have that problem. But I've got the opposite problem where I'm sitting down all day, every day. So I've got to do extra mobility work to counteract the sitting around all day driving a keyboard and a mouse, right? You'd appreciate that sort of stuff. So your whole lifestyle has got to be geared up towards, this,
Does that come easy to you though? Because you're a very meticulous, detailed person. And I've watched you now for how long have we been friends? 5 years? 6 years?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, and everything you do is so detailed.
But it's all about habit, right?
But does it come easy for you, or is it something you have to learn?
Nothing comes easy initially.
Yeah.
All right, it's all about, and I don't know how many of you have done much research into habits, human habits,
Yes, takes
and then the old
21
21-day cycle of forming a new habit, right? And falling out of the habit, it only takes a day or two to fall out of a habit, but it actually takes 2 or 3 weeks to get yourself into a habit. Things like a daily walk. I mean, I've been doing it now for over 12 months. Prior to that, I wasn't walking every day. I was just not doing it. Whereas now, you get up at 5 a.m. to take the dogs for a walk. If I have to miss it because I have to fly somewhere, I get that uneasy feeling of missing something
From
that
your day.
I've gotten myself into the habit of doing. So I've developed that habit. My morning super heavyweight Pilates program that I've put myself together for this rehab,
You could market that.
I could.
Ooh, ebook.
But there are various other people touting the same
9.95.
exercises that I'm doing. So
We'll just put your name in front of it. The Luke Poli
We
this.
could do
The
that.
Luke Poli method.
The Luke Poli method.
Anyway, so that's another 30 minutes of my day that I've added on top, you know, every day during the week.
Has it taken away from anything else in your life?
Not really.
Because I think that's
like,
where a lot of people get stuck. They're like, well, if I have to do this, I have to drop this. That's how they look at it.
That thing that you were talking about that you're having to drop, what is that doing for you? What is it doing for you in your life that is going to enable you to achieve,
XYZ.
you know, it doesn't have to be powerlifting, right? It can be some other sport. There's a lot of people that are engineers, you know, in the profession. They'll spend the first hour and a half to 2 hours of their day every day riding a push bike. That's how they get to work. It's because they do push bike riding as their hobby, and they'll go on 50, 60 kilometre bike rides or 100 kilometre bike rides every Saturday and Sunday, every weekend. You know,
Mr. Poli walks in with his fucking
and that just,
snapback.
you know, that's another hobby. A lot of people do it. That consumes hours and hours and hours of every day, right? It's their exercise as well, and it's their therapy. It's similar to this kind of thing, right? Because because most people these days lead a fairly sedentary lifestyle, it's actually what I believe is led to an increase in mental health disorders. Because people aren't actually doing much with their bodies physically.
Yeah.
They're not able to get themselves out of their head for long enough to stop those thoughts from taking over on things, and they're not focusing enough. You know, 30 minutes a day is not enough. All the government-funded health authorities, whatever, say, 30 minutes 3 times a week and you'll be healthy. It's not enough.
Fuck no.
Even 30 minutes a day is not enough. Right? If you're sitting down for 8 to 10 hours a day in a sedentary job, you need to take at least 2 hours out of your day, either at the start or at the end or in between, or half and half or whatever, and do at least a half an hour to an hour in the morning and in the evening to get enough physiological benefit out of exercising to maintain a healthy mind. This is my opinion.
Do you think there's a correlation between physical activity and mental,
Without a doubt.
clear, logical? Do you think there's a link there?
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Because I was saying to Johnny, at the same time that I took up powerlifting, I took up online writing.
How much writing had you done before that?
None. I'd not published anything online, and at that time I'd also become a teacher. So it was teaching is a really good chance to reflect. And so since then I've written about 1 million words. I've answered about 2,000 answers on this site called Quora, and I reckon there was a correlation between, because it happened the same time. I'm at 55. Johnny's got me in the gym, deadlifting, you know, exhausting me, muscle fatigue, you know, growing new life running around, if you like, growing. And then here's this creative streak of just gushing out, you know, and I reckon there was a correlation between
Well, it's-
There's
You
a
know,
massive
deadlift.
correlation, but they're saying between if you train
Yeah.
and then immediately after training, go learn a new skill, and that you actually learn the new skill quicker
Okay.
post-training than as opposed to just trying to learn a skill without that previous training effect.
It just
Because
seems
it
mind
challenges
and
you.
body is like you were
But
saying. it's
when
connected.
you're out there training, whatever it is, whether you're riding a bike, whether you're
In the
walking,
gym, fucking squatting, whatever.
in the gym, lifting weights, whatever it is, and you're focusing on that physical activity as opposed to being wrapped up in your thoughts inside your mind, you're actually giving your mind a break, right? So
yeah.
you're becoming present.
You're becoming mindful.
You're getting yourself. It's actually the opposite of mindfulness. And this is just my take on this, right?
Yeah.
Because you need to get yourself out of your head
Yeah.
and into your body,
Yeah.
right? You need to stop. And it's also the reason why when people are technically analysing their lifting, you can think about it for a bit, but then you just have to stop thinking about it and just execute. All right? you can have the discussion with an athlete and you can talk to them about how they're going to execute the lift or whatever, and then you just need to give them the opportunity to just execute. Because the more you're thinking about whatever that physical activity is up here, as opposed to being present in your body and actually executing, the harder time you're going to have. Yeah. You need to think about things for a little bit, but then you need to get out of your head and get into your body and actually execute.
And see, for me, that takes on the form of mindfulness, because I'm being present in what I need to do.
Yeah, it's all about presence, right? And having enough mindfulness to know the difference.
But we talk about in teaching, we're talking about competency, and people start off with they are unconsciously incompetent.
Yep.
They don't even know that what they don't know, and then they move to conscious incompetence. So they actually now know that they don't know stuff, and then they move to what they call consciously competent, which is I've got to think about this. I've got to step shoulders back, engage, hold, squeeze the bar. That's consciously competent. You know the steps you've got to do, but they say what you need to get to is unconsciously competent, so that you walk up and you don't realise that you can deliver without thinking.
The quickest example of that is like riding a bike. Like, I'm sure all of us could get back on a bike and know how to do it.
I'd like to see Pete on a bike.
I don't know if anyone's actually ridden a bike in a long time. When was the last time you were on a bike, Pete?
Losing
a fucking
weight.
push bike, Pete. Not the fucking ergo.
You asked the question, he answered the question.
A year ago.
But yeah, so but we could all probably jump on a bike and we'll know what to do. It's a skill that just doesn't seem to work.
We've ridden it before.
We've ridden it before, exactly.
More applicable to most everybody presently, though, is driving a car.
Yeah.
You go and you get in, you turn the key on. You're not even thinking about these things, right?
No, that's why I drive
You're hitting
to
the
my
button,
old
you're unlocking the door, you're getting in.
Why, mate?
But then we get so good at that.
You put it in gear, you drive down the road, and there's a light, I'll stop. You're not actually thinking about that. You got a visual cue there, and you just react. It's not, what do I do with that red light? Oh, hang on, I have to stop.
But then we got
You haven't got to 66 yet, because when you get to 66, actually that all comes back. And you look at that and you say, is it really white? I mean, is it white?
White.
Red. Is it really green or red? Like
someone should take his license off.
I've gone back to consciously competent because I'm really worried, and I wait for someone else to go. So I must be green.
No wonder you were late getting here today.
Well, because I arrived at, this is a terrible story, but I have to tell, I have to be honest. I came and I normally get money out for my gym coach. And anyway, I arrived and I said, Johnny, I know I got the money out, but you know what happened? I think I left it in the machine. Now, I don't know whether you'll know another person that got money out of the machine, got the card out, took off, and left the money in the machine.
The money's the first thing I grab.
Exactly.
Not the card.
So since that day, I start to question
But
lights.
Even the order of it, like you get the cash and then you get your card last, don't you?
No, the card is first.
Is it?
Nah, some.
Is it
this one.
Because it's beeping at you too, right?
I had this mental thing because I was actually going to pay for coffee, and I grabbed the card and I said to myself at that moment, I don't need to pay cash, I'll pay with the card. That's what I said.
Pete, I think...
And so my brain said, well, just leave the cash there, just take the card in, because that's all you need to buy your coffee.
We had a guest on recently,
Isn't
Pete.
that terrible? So that's why I'm actually looking at the lights and going, is it really green?
We actually had a guest on recently that specialises in memory health. I might put
Yeah,
you
yeah.
on
Did that, Pete? Did you listen to that?
No, I've got it on my...
Did you ask the question for that one?
I'm doing backstory first. Now that you've hooked me up, I'm catching up with
What
all...
episode are you up to?
I don't know. I just say, that looks interesting, and I hit it.
Yeah, you mean you listen to every episode because you're an avid listener?
No, I will. I'll get to it.
How many more questions left on this list?
Well, that kind of flowed nicely. But here's another question from, Pete. To what extent does courage and character play in the sport of powerlifting? And we're going to go around the table with this question. Courage and character.
Do you have to have character
I got
to
plenty
live?
of character.
Yeah. You
Well, look,
Hey!
character is obviously something that you build yourself over time, right? The old adage of character building activities, right? And I guess it depends on what people's definition of character is. From my point of view, I link that to things like intestinal fortitude and your ability to put yourself through, arduous activities.
That fifth set.
Is this what you mean by character?
Yeah, well, I think so. The better person.
Yeah,
Does powerlifting lead to being a better person?
I 100% believe that. Yes.
Look,
To survive in the sport.
It can.
I think it'll say it can.
There's a lot of there's not that many floating around Brisbane, but you see it on the internet all the time. The internet warriors and whatever. There's a lot of really like they'll carry on and come across online as quite arrogant.
But are they long-termers in the sport?
I don't know, but it's a sport that attracts a certain type of person, and normally people are initially attracted to a sport like powerlifting because they've got like some kind of an empty space in their life, something's missing, and they see this group of people over here having a hell of a good time, going to these comps which look like parties without all the alcohol and drugs and whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So they go into these comps, they're having fun, they're training, they're in these gyms, circles of friends and whatever, having this good old time, and they want a piece of that, right? And what a lot of them will sometimes do is they'll go from one group to the next group until they find their home, right?
Okay. We've had
because you can't. Not everybody is going to fit in to a group somewhere.
There's always an outlier.
Yes, there's always an outlier. So, in terms of character, it can build, because particularly if you go and associate yourself with a group of people who are a good bunch of people, right? They've got good character built. They've got systems in place that prevent undesirables. Someone will come in, and if they're undesirable, then they'll get filtered out through the process, right? So if someone is open and willing to learn and become a better person, then their character gets built accordingly, right?
And do you courage? Do you get apprehensive, or is everything you step out and say I'm ready for this, or are there times when you get really apprehensive and
look, it can be quite intimidating.
Intimidating, there you go.
Yeah, so the term I use is whether or not I'm intimidated.
Yep. Okay.
Because in terms of apprehension, that kind of thing, I guess that's a sort of a different sort of approach to the topic. But
doesn't that call on your
perspective.
courage then? That you
and I wouldn't necessarily call it courage either.
What do you call it?
I call it.
I guess it comes back down to how do you interpret that question, though? Because I look at that question and, does it take courage? And to take on this sport, which is still it's gaining traction in mainstream, but it's still a little bit underground. It's still got a bit of bikey mentality, for lack of a better word, to it. So to take on a sport where you have to become super meticulous, go through and challenge yourself week after week, it does take a bit of courage in that aspect.
Yeah, I think it's more from my perspective. Courage, I think, is a word that is a little bit out of place with powerlifting, right? You might get injured when you train. You might get seriously injured, right? I'm not sure if people have died doing powerlifting.
I get what you're saying, because it's
but
people.
It's not like you're joining the army.
Yeah.
And you're getting trained to go to a combat zone and put yourself in literally the line of fire and potentially get shot and killed.
Okay.
Right? You need courage in bucket loads to be able to go and do that kind of thing. So for powerlifting, for me, it's about intimidation, having the discipline to put my body through the regime I need to prepare for progressively heavier loads. Right? If I know I've done the work, then I'm going to be less intimidated by the weight. But make no mistake about it, the first time I got under 410 kilos on the platform, I was a little bit intimidated, right? And I had to actually do it twice, because the first time I got called on depth. The second time I came back for that weight, I'd already had it on my back, and I was fucking angry. I wasn't intimidated at all, and I nailed it. So, intimidation factor, yes. courage doesn't come into it for me because I apply the discipline, put my body through the training process to be less intimidated by the weight. It's not courage because I'm not going to get killed.
Can I ask him the next question?
You can do anything.
You can do whatever you want, Pete.
So do you have a self-talk? When you
Self-talk.
step out
Oh, so you asked
to that,
one of the questions from the thing.
Yeah, when you step out, do you say something to yourself? Are you just a blank machine, or do you actually
No,
say? Do
well-
you talk to your?
I'm not like Gawain, where he pretends like he's about to get eaten by a shark.
All right,
sharks
no,
in
that's
here.
not true.
All right.
So
That-
what's your
that-
self-talk
that-
when you step under?
For
a bar?
me, it's all about I get as present as I can, and I try to make it so that the weight feels like it's floating on either my hands or my back or whatever it is. Squats and bench are my favourite lifts, right? And I don't get as intimidated by the weight. I try to get myself fired up as well. I use a breathing technique to increase the level of oxygen that I take into my body.
Can you explain that technique?
It's like I take long, deep breaths
through the nose.
through the nose and out through the mouth, and then as I'm getting closer and closer to going out on the platform, they get a little bit shorter, almost like you're hyperventilating. Because when you're full on hyperventilating, you're taking so much oxygen into your system that your brain's starting to, spin out and whatever. That's what hyperventilating. So you almost try to get yourself to the point where you're hyperventilating, but without hyperventilating, because you're adding oxygen into your system, which gives you more energy, gives you a bit of the ability to actually execute physical activity in a heightened state. So I go through that process, and I get focused, and I get like a they call it going red eye, where you get the
Like a
blinkers
tunnel
come
vision.
on, like a tunnel vision. That motion of going through and elevating, because you elevate your heart rate at the same time. When you're taking more oxygen in and you're starting to shorten your breath, your heart rate elevates, it's pumping the blood through your system faster. You get this feeling of a rise in your alertness and preparedness. That's the best way I can describe it. You become more ready for action. It's almost akin to where, like, if you're hunting prey or something or other, and you're there, you're getting ready.
You're initiating the fight or flight response.
Yeah, that's what it is. You initiate the fight response, not the flight response. You're initiating the fight response manually through breathing techniques and so forth, and you're focusing in on what you're about to do, and you go red eye, and then you just execute.
And you
That
don't
split
ever
second when
say
I'm-
to something. You don't say something to yourself.
I'll
Even, come on.
come
you got
on,
this,
yeah, I
or-
do all that sort of stuff. If you watch my videos, I do all that sort of stuff. Yell a bit, I don't carry on over the top like a lot of people do, or some people do, but
There's a brilliant moment if you watch Luke's videos where he takes one breath, and I don't know what happens, but it's like all this mouth juice. I don't know what it is, but it comes
Mouth
out,
juice.
and it's brilliant.
it's part of my breathing technique, right? Like
It's
particularly
brilliant.
when I'm about to take the weight, before I take my last big, huge breath to brace hard and get everything locked in tight, I'll take the biggest breath out that I can to create more space in my lungs. And then you take that really big, deep breath in, which fills your lungs up, gives you that shot of oxygen into your system as well.
Plus the bracing.
Brace hard and then go.
Well, that's
Okay.
one thing people don't realise is when you brace, like the function of it is that obviously your lungs expand in the rib cage, which then pushes down your diaphragm and to lock in through your core. So it's breathing's not bracing, breathing's not breathing.
That's why it's called breathing and bracing.
But
yeah.
people just get focused on the brace and forget to breathe.
Yeah, and then you just execute. For the split second when I go down and come back up with a squat, I have very little recollection of that process.
It's such a sick
Normally I go down
Alright,
and I'm coming
brilliant.
back up, and then as soon as the weight kicks in about halfway up, I'm fighting.
that's what you
The fight response that I've turned on is kicked into overdrive. Yeah, it's the same thing with bench, and I haven't quite figured it out for deadlifts yet.
So
I
what's
have-
your
I
best
have-
deadlift?
In comp is 345. I haven't figured out.
For not figuring it out, eh?
So fit, but fit
No,
of a
I haven't
failure,
figured it out.
you know.
Deadlifts, it's always, I feel like, you know, if we talk about that process you run, Luke, there, it's one that, like, and it's the same. Like, if we look at the deadlift, it's different to the squat and bench. There's no eccentric loading before the concentric. It's, you hit the weight and it's fucking dead in your hands. Do you think that plays a part in why you have...
Yeah, look, I just haven't figured it out. I'm getting there, though. I've been spending a lot of time, particularly at the moment, I'm working with Will Crozier on my deadlift technique. He's one of the best deadlift practitioners in Australia, so I've engaged his services to help me out. And my deadlift technique is feeling better than it's ever felt. I mean, it's still relatively light weights from where I want to get to.
but I'm beltless.
Yeah, but it's because when I throw a belt on, it hurts my back.
Yeah, right.
So the reason I'm training beltless at the moment with my deadlift is not because I want to be a beltless deadlift warrior, is because I can't. I put a belt on and I get a stabbing pain through my vertebrae fusion that I'm rehabbing at the moment, and it's like, well, I'm not going to do that. Every time I deadlift with a belt, it's going to fuck my back. But it's feeling good, and I'm building a solid base under the beltless deadlift.
Does the injury in your back hold you back from deadlifting, do you think? Like, has that been in the back of your mind?
Over the years, it has, yeah. So I guess deadlift has always been a lift where I haven't necessarily wanted to put as much effort into it because of the injury I did way back in 2011.
Yep.
And every time I've got the bar in my hand and I'm coming up, I'm tentative at best. Like, even when I was pulling the 340 for the 1,000 kilo total back in 2018, I was... And you look at that lift and it's a slow bar movement, right? There's no... My full speed deadlift is like a slow tempo deadlift for most everybody else, right? And it's because when I'm holding onto that bar, I'm making sure that I've got the groove and I'm staying in the groove.
It's not unconsciously competent.
No, it's not. It's
You're consciously competent.
It's consciously almost competent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you're still teetering on what I need to be in.
Yeah, because the deadlift is just one lift that mastery of it has eluded me to date. Yeah, but it's a work in progress.
One more. So,
go for it, Pete. You're running the show.
I've been listening to all the things, the routines and all that you have, and the things you've given up and put into your diet.
Well, I don't look at it as giving it up.
Well,
by the way, but anyway.
You've changed or you're not doing certain things. But have you added supplements? Do you add any supplements? Vitamins or cod liver oil? Or,
people will take the piss out on it, but creatine.
Are you constantly on creatine?
Not every day, but I take it, like, I have a carb mix that I have for my training sessions.
Yeah.
And in that carb mix, so I've got 60 grams of carbs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you've got to be careful with carbs too, because some certain types of carbs will affect your stomach. They'll suck the water out of your stomach and make you nauseous, all that sort of thing. So you've got to figure that out.
But creatine is one of the things you add?
A scoop of creatine and a scoop of electrolytes and BCAAs.
That's in training, but what about just general life, waking up in the morning?
Yeah, so in the morning I'll take like vitamin D.
Is that a tablet?
It's a little gel cap.
Something I've told you to take before, Pete.
D, I do E.
Told you about
vitamin D.
Okay, that's the sunlight one.
Yes, Pete.
Yeah.
What did we talk about at the start of the year, Pete?
I get it from walking.
I
get
also
it for
take
free.
a joint health one. What's it called? It's a big white tablet. Glucosamine hydrochloride. The hydrochloride version is the way to go. The sulfate version is less bioactive, but anyway, that's another complete thread that we won't pull. I also take in my morning. I have this big thick shake, milk and protein powder and all-in-one, Vital all-in-one. It's like a big mix of almost every thing you can poke a stick at. It's got 70 or 80 different vitamins and minerals and whatever in there. So I have a big scoop of that. Vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C, which I'm about to bump up to 2,000. for healing and keeps colds and flus away as well, because it boosts your immune system.
It's also a powerful antioxidant.
Yeah, it's a what, sorry?
Powerful antioxidant.
Antioxidant, yeah, okay. And yeah, that's about it. I think there's one or two other things I take for men's health, but that's about it.
Pete's thinking mentally. Need these.
Yeah.
Might have already heard about some of them from me already. Just saying.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
there's
meat.
that's so in terms of vitamins and supplements.
Vitamin D.
Yeah, protein powder,
Yep.
whey protein concentrate. You can spend a lot of money on different protein blends and WPIs and
Fortitude Barbell protein powder.
whatever.
Good segue. Fortitude Barbell Protein. Buy now.
Oh, do we have a Fortitude barbell one?
Yeah, you bought one.
Oh,
But
okay, good.
the whey protein concentrate is easily digestible. It's good quality. It's clean.
Just
Is that ours?
a little
Okay.
follow on from that men's health pill that you were talking about. You take as a supplement. Is it small and blue?
No.
Zing.
Oh, okay. Well, Pete, if you need those, I can.
Small blue ones.
Yeah, small blue one. That's the
Okay,
one you
gotcha.
want.
Let's go to your doc and ask for
Just
one.
ask for small blue one.
Yeah.
Okay,
See what they
gotcha.
fucking come back with for you,
Gotcha.
mate.
Yeah.
I'll say it's for
that might be a
Yeah, for
topic of
powerlifting.
discussion to take offline.
Yeah, Pete, we'll run you through the do's and don'ts of that.
Okay.
You can go to your
And-
local adult shop
How's
and
your,
get,
heart,
a,
how's
get
your
a Red Devil.
heart health?
Yeah.
Red Devils.
Yeah.
Red Devils. Okay. Okay.
But you know,
Okay, that's good.
I've gone
Thank you.
through periods where I've had blood pressure issues and cholesterol issues as well that I've got to manage. So
You mean you've come off that medication?
No, I actually also take blood pressure and cholesterol meds
Okay.
to manage that. Yeah. I get regular blood work to keep on top of everything
How
as
often
well.
is regular?
At least every quarter.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're paying for that? That's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's worth it to track the.
Oh, of course. Yeah. If you're doing all this stuff to your body, putting yourself through heavy training regimes, you know, putting various supplements into your body, and if you're not looking after yourself, you know, I've got a blood pressure machine at home that I take my blood pressure regularly. You know, I wear a
Fitbit.
Fitbit. It keeps track of my sleep, my heart rate, and whatever.
It's where
'cause-
data tracking becomes important.
Yeah, it's tracking of data, right? And your blood work is the same thing, right?
So does your creatinine in the blood work? One of them is creatinine.
Yeah,
Is
it's,
that elevated for you?
It's one of the markers that you have to monitor.
But is it elevated?
Yeah, mine's in the normal range.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
so
I
the-
went
the-
through an elevated stage and they panicked about my kidneys and they
Yeah,
eliminated everything and they
it's-
said it must be just
It's
powerlifting.
it's a sign. If your creatinine is elevated, it's a sign that your kidneys are working harder than normal.
It's not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
Well, my doctor just put it down to you're a powerlifter. That's what because he did the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I'm not sure that
You can't just
Yeah.
blame powerlifting. I think there's a lot of factors, especially in someone over the age of 60.
Yeah, I mean,
No offense, Pete.
My liver function and kidney function and
Okay.
whatever is in the normal ranges.
Okay. That's interesting. Quarterly. That's a
Yeah.
pretty frequent look at.
You could do that, Pete.
Yeah. Well, that's right. No,
It literally takes
say Luke
like
does it, and
it literally takes like less than
yeah.
takes longer to wait to go in than it does to
Yeah.
actually take the blood, right? It's literally like a minute to 2 minutes tops, and the job's done. And anyway. So
Okay. Oh, that's all good knowledge.
yeah.
All right.
Are you ready? 10
We've
new
got
question,
10
boys.
new questions for you.
Oh no, you've got new questions.
So we're going to go Luke and then Pete and
Red
and
apples.
questions.
Red apples.
Okay.
All right. What makes you unique?
What makes me unique?
Yes.
Shit, where do I start? I'm Luke Poli. Who the hell are you?
Ooh.
Pete, what makes you unique?
My DNA. How about that?
Ooh.
That'd
I was
be
going to say
pretty
you're a
unique.
triad leader.
A
Who is
triad,
the
yeah.
special people in your life, Luke?
Who are the special people in my life?
In order, Brandon and then Kerry.
So my partner, Kerry, she's pretty damn special to me. My kids, obviously. Kerry's kids, even though they're not my kids, they're pretty special. Our doggos, We got a staffy and a little sausage dog. And outside of the immediate circle there, obviously the group of people that Brandon, Kane, the guys
Fuck you, Kane, I got it before
train
you.
with. Even guys like yourself, I don't necessarily see you every week, but obviously have meaning in our lives.
Once you lift out a 242 bench, you're a special bloke.
And just in all the people that I've met over the years through powerlifting, they all have meaning to me on various levels. People I work with in the job that I'm working in at the moment. I'm in a pretty good job at the moment, pretty sweet place, which is nice.
Try and beat that, Pete.
He's covered everyone. I'm including my family. I think was in there. No,
You're a fucking savage.
I think you can't go past family, and that's your extended family. Both, your partner, your kids, and their kids. You can't beat that. Work. All your work colleagues are pretty special to you. For me, Fortitude Barbell community has just been special to me for the last 12 years, and they're a really important part of my life. It is my church. Johnny wants me to train. I just want to go and talk to people. So they're all pretty special.
We meet in the middle and allow both things to happen.
And obviously,
it's a good analogy actually. Like even just the gym in general for me.
Yeah.
It's my church.
Yeah, it is. That's sort of how I see it. Yeah, sorry about that. Yep.
What's something you're most proud of, Luke?
Something I'm most proud of.
It's good that he starts.
I'm going to fuck you up on question 5, Pete. I'm coming to you first.
Being able to get through this year, like a lot of other people, I've had a pretty hard time in various areas of my life this year. But to come through that in a better place, not just physically but mentally. There's been a couple of things that haven't gone my way this year, obviously with the resurgence of the couple of injuries, pretty bad resurgence of those couple of injuries, and a couple of things that have happened on the work front as well. But I've come through that. I'm in a really good place. In the process of we've been able to buy a block of land and build a house.
That's unreal.
This year. We'll start building a house, frames up now. So pretty proud of the position that I've been able to assist my family get themselves into by the end of this year. I feel really fortunate. I've had a couple of humbling experiences this year. And I feel really fortunate compared to a lot of other people that you hear about around the country, and the situation that a lot of people are in through this period this year.
COVID.
Yeah, so really fortunate, and I feel actually really proud in a few of those areas that I've mentioned. So
really cool. Beat again, try and beat that.
Yeah. I mean, some things you're good at, but they come naturally. But I think Luke's, I feel the same way as Luke, that the things you're proudest of is quite often the coming back, the overcoming challenges is something you're proud of. Reinventing yourself is something that I'm proud of. That I was a triad and now I'm a powerlifter.
Fucking admitted it finally. We cannot let this go anywhere.
Did you mean you're a triathlete?
No, yeah, triathlete. But that ability to reinvent yourself, that ability to come back, to overcome, and I guess you're proudest of that ability to cope. That no matter what, and going forward, I know that no matter what happens, I know that I've got a really good ability to cope with it. So anyway, that's it. What about? Don't pick on Luke first. Give me a shot.
Star in a movie, what would it be, Pete?
Oh, I don't know.
Who
Who would I be? Oh, Superman.
Yes.
Oh, you are my Superman.
In Superman?
I would be Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always wanted to
Luke?
fly.
Who would you be?
Who would I be in a movie?
Yep. The Hulk? Shrek.
Nah, too predictable. Too predictable. Yeah.
James Bond.
Fuck, can you imagine Luke being
Bond.
this smooth?
Oh, yeah. Shaken, not stirred.
Yeah, if I had to pick a James Bond to be, it'd be a Sean Connery type.
Can you give us your best
yes.
Bond, James Bond?
James Bond.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
good.
little rouse.
That's nice. Pete, I
Yep.
don't know if you'd even know what one of these are, but
try
let
me.
alone use it.
Yep.
But I'll ask you anyway.
Yep.
What's your most used emoji?
Oh, my most used. Probably thumbs up. I know how that one works.
Yeah, you send me that one all the time.
Yeah, that's all. It's the
It
best.
has no
communication.
meaning. You don't know what he's putting.
I know, but whatever it is, I agree. You know, whatever
I
it is
feel like
you want me to
Luke's
do.
is going to be just the finger.
Yeah. No.
I hardly ever use that. Yeah.
It's a love heart, isn't it?
No, mine's the one. You know the little brown dog with the tongue sticking out.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the big dog. Yeah, the big
dog.
dog emoji.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not a big dog. It's just this
Yeah, but
face
it-
of a dog with
Yeah,
the
we
tongue
know what it
sticking.
We know what it means. It means the big
dog.
dog's fucking putting his mark on it. It's like you pissing on a fire hydrant.
Pete,
Sure.
what was your favourite dinosaur as a kid?
Favorite
Back in 1860.
dinosaur.
Mate, you were fucking alive when they
You
were
are the
around.
dinosaur.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you had to have a favorite dinosaur.
No, you didn't have to, but we're saying.
Well, I don't know many dinosaurs. I know T-Rex. So
there you go,
I'll
T-Rex.
just have
it
to
is.
go
Luke,
with T-Rex.
What's your favourite dinosaur?
Sorry, I've stolen it.
Triceratops.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you got
See
fucking
that
outdone.
that head is full of stuff, isn't it? You know that. It's actually not just circumference. There's stuff inside.
There's volume in there.
No, there's stuff in there, and it's all connected.
If you could find out how and when you die, would you?
If I could find out how and when I die,
Yeah, that's pretty.
would I want to know that?
Would you want to
I don't know if
that
we should ask
information?
someone that's pretty close, like fucking 66.
No,
Not on my watch because it's financially to my detriment if he
No,
passes on.
I would still like for it to happen as a surprise. You know, like I'd still like. Oh,
Hey, you're dead.
I'd say, how did that happen? I'd like that.
He wouldn't
Then
be
he's going to
asking that.
fucking haunt you because you're scared of ghosts.
He's gonna haunt me because I'm a cunt to him.
When you see the lights come on and off, you'll know that's me. You know, in the podcast. I just stuff.
I would want to know.
Really?
Oh.
Well, being an engineer, you want
Engineer.
to control all your variables.
They
right?
don't like surprises. you
Yeah,
know?
that's true.
They don't mind problems, and they don't mind issues and all that. You just don't want surprises, do you?
We need to know our variables.
Yes.
So
and if that's a variable,
yeah,
I need to know.
if I know when and where and how I'm going to die,
You'll avoid it.
then I'm either going to.
Someone else.
Well, you've beat me to the punchline. So I'm either going pedal to the metal and going hard at the target, or I'm trying to control that variable and put mitigation measures in place.
Very clever.
It was actually a parachute jump. Yeah,
There's no
just
fucking
filling
parachute
in.
that could hold him.
And that was the problem.
Luke,
You know,
what age do you feel right now?
What age do I feel right? Oh, about 66.
Yeah.
Hey! Yo!
For those who aren't watching, he just touched Pete Baskerville's leg.
And Pete liked it.
And Pete, he's aroused. He don't need no blue pill.
And I'm feeling 32 now.
Yeah, right.
After that.
How did you manage that?
That blood pressure increased rapidly.
Man!
How old do you feel? Yeah, I don't think you ever really grow up. You know, I don't. You know, I think in your head you are still the same person as you always were, you know.
I actually don't feel an age, usually.
Yeah, it surprises me, the
Yeah,
mirror
it's-
every day.
it's like-
Oh, who's that?
This is actually a philosophical discussion that you've opened the can of
Oh,
worms on here.
let's not go there.
Let's not go
We,
there.
yeah, well, I don't know if we have the time
There's
to go there.
people that have to go home.
There's cake. Pete, what pet did you have growing up?
Dogs.
Name?
I had a Muffy, Duffy, and Tuffy.
Yeah, right. What were
Yeah,
they?
very creative. All dogs.
Yeah, they were what
Yeah.
kind of dog?
They were all stray dogs.
Like
Oh,
dog dogs.
mostly, what do they call it? Kelpies.
Bits and bobs.
Yeah, bibs and bobs. But
Luke?
So I grew up on a sugarcane farm, and we
there we
had
go.
we
So
had
we-
all sorts of animals. We had dogs, we had chickens, and
family will be in this.
we used to go and get the potty calves
Yeah.
because we had a paddock full of cows.
Yeah.
I remember one day, I must have been like, I don't know, 10 or 12 years old or something or other. We went and got this potty calf and brought it back, and I'd been nursing it, and it was like becoming a pet to me. And the old man comes and we're like, okay, we've got to name this thing. I've got a good name for it. We're going to call it Christmas Dinner.
Oh, no. No, that's yeah.
Yeah, that was fair income. So anyway, I was
wouldn't want to call it beef curry
hand
or
raising
something
this potty calf. Its name was Christmas dinner because that's what it was going to be.
It was good.
Yeah, well, we ate it and it tasted like pretty good steak. But I mean, anyways.
Did you just call it beef curry, Pete?
Well, yeah, that'd be a good name, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but,
Beef
dogs,
curry.
and we even had cats.
That's cool.
Cats. My mum used to have this Siamese cat called Conan.
Yeah.
Man, he was a character. I love that cat. I'm allergic to cats. Yeah.
There's
I
the punchline.
sneeze and carry on and whatever and scratch, itch, like particularly around the neck. But man, I used to give that cat some good cuddles. Yeah. Anyway, as you were.
Pete, what's the best thing that happened to you last week?
Best thing last week, I guess finishing work was probably the best
Got
thing
an
that
invite
happened
to the
last
platform
week.
again.
Yeah, I'll concur with that. 3 weeks leave now.
Yep.
Got yourself.
Yep. I think that's a big,
I think that was
big
it.
thing that happened last week. Yep.
That's it? All 10 done?
Mate, boys, no, we're not clapping yet, Pete. I got to thank you. I got to thank you.
Oh, and then we got to do the clap.
Mate, don't take the blue pill.
I thought
You're gonna premature.
they used to open with a clap, didn't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, we did.
We got rid of the clap.
I don't know why.
Back.
I don't
So you
know
got
why.
the clap
Why did
and
I
then you
get
got rid of it?
We got the clap. Got rid of the
More
clap.
comfortable, Pete.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pete,
But he didn't get one.
he
on
will
me.
break it.
He didn't want it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's because,
And he was here early, Pete.
Oh, so he got the better chair.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to be rocking backwards and forwards like
Now,
this.
just
No, that's right.
want to say a big thank you, Pete, for a number of things. 1, coming on the podcast. 2, wearing that awesome shirt. 3, being the savage motherfucker that you are. I loved it. It's been a pleasure having you on
Commentary
here.
is always spot on.
And Luke, again, thank you for joining us on the
Yes.
podcast. I feel like
A
you've...
lot of good information.
I don't need to fucking talk. Pete's got this. Pete, wrap us up for us.
No, go.
No,
I'm
keep going. Wrap it
I,
up.
I'm just your side. I'm just putting
Yeah, I know,
the,
but like you're doing a really good
you
job.
know, putting
Go on, finish it off.
the asides.
But again, thank you. We'll put all your contact details in the show notes where people can find you if they want to reach out and ask questions.
Now, in years to come, many and countless words will strive to interpret the motives, describe the accomplishments, and extol the virtues of Luke.
I'm sure they will.
That was a way better ending than I fucking did. Fuck you, Pete. We out.